Let's rip into this tournament, starting off with Group A. Obviously, co-host New Zealand are the headliners. Well, for locals, that is. They are $6 to win the group. They're $1.90 to qualify. They're $1.80 to not qualify. Their odds to win the tournament, about 150 to 1. Norway, they're the ones who should breeze through this group. They're $1.33 to top the table. They are currently ranked, where are they? 12th in the world. They are $51 to win the tournament, $1.33 to win the group, $1.05 to qualify, $11 to miss. We'll move across to Switzerland, who are $6 to win the group, $1.66 to qualify, and $2.10 to not qualify. And Philippines, it'll be a shock if they are to qualify because they're 500 to 1 to win the group. There are hundreds to qualify, and they're $1.01 to not qualify. So pretty stock standard there. Stats guy, run us through here, starting off with Norway, 12th ranked team in the world.
Yeah, just looking at this Group A, it's probably the worst group in the tournament, just in terms of ranking. So you've got no teams that are actually ranked in the top 10 in the world. Norway,
stats guy.
Yeah, but that makes this probably one of the best groups to watch because of how close it's going to be. There's a lot of other groups that we'll talk about later that just not going to be as close as this one. So I don't mind this group in Group A. I say with Norway, they're one of only 4 teams to actually win the World Cup. You got USA, Japan. I can't remember the other one off the top of my head. Might have been
Germany.
Yeah, it might have been Germany, actually. But yeah, they took it out in 1995. I know that's a long time ago. And they've really dropped off since then. But yeah, they're in a much easier group this year. They're known for powering through the group stage. They've won their last 7 World Cup opening matches and have at least made it to the semi-finals in four times in their past World Cup. So I think they're still going to be a pretty strong side here. They've got a lot of stars. You got Barcelona's Caroline Hansen, who's coming off a Champions League and Spanish League title. She helped Barca with 17 goal contributions in just 13 matches in the league. She was absolutely awesome. Then you got Frida Maanum, who plays in your beloved club, Arsenal, in the Women's Super League in England. She's just going to control the midfield. I think they're going to absolutely dominate this group. You got Switzerland, who are very inexperienced. New Zealand, who, as I mentioned, are very inexperienced. Philippines are making their first ever World Cup. So Norway are going to win all their games. I can almost guarantee that, and absolutely cruise through this group. Then we'll have a look at the second favorite in this group is Switzerland. Surprisingly, only the second time they've actually qualified for the World Cup. They're really strong in the men's, but yeah, just a little bit less strong in the women's. They actually made it out of the group stage to the round of 16 in 2015. That was their last World Cup. They've sort of dropped off a little bit since then. I think their biggest threat is New Zealand, actually. New Zealand have been really poor at the World Cups in recent yeyears, but they're going to be a really close fight for second. As the odds suggest, you got $1.90, I think you said, and then you got $1.66 for both of them to qualify. So it's the closest spot for second in any group. So I think that'll be interesting to watch. Their captain is another Arsenal player. I was looking through every team I had. I reckon their star player plays for Arsenal. That shows how well.
What can I say, mate? We're a dominant force in world football.
Yeah, you are. So their captain, Leah Walti, is a star. She's a great leader for Arsenal and for Switzerland. Box-to-box midfielder. I think, if you have a good box-to-box midfielder, sort of like your Declan Rice, who Arsenal just signed as well, they can control the whole play. I just had to get a Declan Rice in there. I knew you would like that one.
We'll do your victory lap at the end of the show, Stats guy. Don't worry.
But I think, she will control the play. And Switzerland will be all right, but I'm going to back, New Zealand, which I'll talk about now, to come second.
Okay.
Now, New Zealand, this is not going well. They haven't gone well at all. They actually have the most losses in World Cup history without a win, with 15. But the last couple of years, they've actually become a much better side. They've qualified, obviously, again, and they've beaten Belgium, England, and Norway, who are in their group, across the past few years. I think I looked at that Norway side, they had a few outs and things like that.
Norway did draw with Sweden recently too, so that's sort of that's showing how good they are. Like Sweden are one of the dominant teams in women's football. They're third in the world.
But I think their last few World Cups do not suggest they're going to be really bad. They do suggest they're going to be really bad in New Zealand in this tournament, but I think they could provide a bit of betting value here. So I'll give my first tip of this group is New Zealand to actually make it out of the group. I think on some sites you can get them around that $2 mark. I think even $2.10. They're probably the best value to make it out of the group, as a lot of other ones are like $1.60, $1.50 or less. So I really like New Zealand here. They got the home crowd advantage. I think they're going to easily surpass Philippines. They've got not your best players in the top leagues, but they're really experienced at playing together. They've got a striker from Melbourne City, actually, who's going really well, Hannah Wilkinson. She scored at the 2 previous World Cups. She's just much more experienced than some of the Swiss players. So, I think they can at least draw to Switzerland, smash Philippines. So if they can do that and get their first World Cup win, they could progress. It's going to be a really close group. So I just don't mind taking the value with New Zealand on that one.
It's going to be really interesting because obviously, just a quick rundown of the games. New Zealand play Norway to actually open up the World Cup on Thursday night. So their final game, which is Switzerland, New Zealand on 30th of July, like all World Cups. All the group games are on at the same time. It's awesome. I love it for that final day. So that's really going to be telling is basically who can get closest to Norway and then who hopefully wins that game against New Zealand. Because with all due respect to Philippines, both Switzerland and New Zealand should take care of the Philippines.
I couldn't agree with more with that. That New Zealand-Switzerland game is just going to be probably one of the biggest in the group stages of any group. So, if you're going to watch any game, definitely watch that game because that'll probably decide the group. And you're right. If a team doesn't get smashed by Norway and doesn't help their goal difference, then, you're most likely going to make it through. So I don't mind New Zealand in that one. So that's my favorite bet in this group. Then we're just going to finish off with the Philippines. They've had an amazing run, qualifying run. They've got a new coach, former Matilda's coach, Alan Stajic. Stajic, he's built a great structure, and I think that he's moved them up 40 rankings in the last couple of years. They made the semi-finals of the AFC Asian Cup, actually, which surpassed even Australia in that tournament, which is an unbelievable.
We bombed out in that.
We bombed out in that. It was pretty bad. But, Stajic should just turn this team around. I don't think they're going to do too well. The experience at these tournaments is vital, and they just
even in the last ranking updates, they did the last ranking updates at the start of last week. FIFA, that is. They've jumped into the top 50 for the first time in the Philippines. So try not to sell them too short, but there is a big gap between sort of the top 12 and then it starts to sort of dip away. Then you get to the 30s and then it's like, okay, it's a part of the world game evolving at the moment. Like all these teams are going to come up. Like you look at somewhere like Mexico, they're ranked 35th. You wouldn't expect something like that, but it's just the way this game is obviously evolving. So this could be one of the last World Cups where we see massive blowouts, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It's starting to get a lot closer just in the world rankings, as you just mentioned. Then the other thing is Philippines don't have any players in Europe's top 5 leagues. They're one of the only teams in the World Cup that actually doesn't have one of those really star players. They've got a few solid players in form for Western United in the Women's A-League and things like that, the W League. But I don't trust them at all. They're just going to bottom this group. But it's just an amazing effort that they've made it. And I think in the next World Cup, they actually could be pretty strong. So
we'll pay close attention to some of the bookies as well because they may give us the over-under for points because we did have that during the Men's World Cup. So hopefully we do that. All right, stats guy, let's go to Group B. Of course, headline.
Do you want to just give our top 2 for the Group A?
I'll say Norway. I'll say Norway and Switzerland. I think that Switzerland will have a bit too much for the Kiwis. Yes, the home advantage will be helpful, but I think the Swiss have a bit too much. But I think Norway will top it.
All right, as I mentioned before, definitely Norway. And then I'm going to go New Zealand as a bit of a shock upset in second there.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.